Thanks for coming to J&N Travels Podcast with your host, John and Nancy.
Hi.
We will discuss everything travel, including cruising, Disney World, other general travel, snowbirding tips, trivia, and other fun things.
Thanks for joining us. Each podcast contains 2 segments with travel information. We also have Nancy's Trivia, travel fun facts, and snowbird tips. We have been getting some questions emailed to us and will answer one question on each podcast. If interested in sending us a question or making up a comment, email us at j&ntravels@yahoo.com. Please check out our J&N Travels Facebook page, J&N Travels merchandise store, our J&N Travels YouTube channel, and visit our podcasts on YouTube, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and Apple. Our information for everything is listed below. We like to start off each podcast with Nancy's Trivia. Nancy, that's me, will give you the trivia questions now, and she will give you the answers towards the end of our podcast.
Before we get into the segments on our podcast, Nancy likes to throw 3 trivia questions, all travel related,
yeah.
out in the podcast.
Yep.
And at the end of our podcast, she'll give you the answers. So what are your 3 trivia questions today, Nancy?
So which Asian country is made up of more than 17,000 islands? Ooh,
Wow. Which
lots.
Asian country is made up of more than 17,000
Wow.
islands? I got no idea in this one.
No, I don't know that one either.
Which is second one?
How many times has Disney World closed to the public? That's a good one. Yeah.
I remember growing up on this question. It was like 0, and then different things happened.
Yeah.
And they had times that they were closed down. So how many times has Disney World closed to the public? I'd be curious to see what that
Yeah, that's
answer
an
is.
interesting question.
And number 3?
In 2022, a cruise on Carnival Pride left Tampa with an out-of-the-ordinary dress code. What was it?
I happen to read an article on this. So I know the answer on this. So in
You do?
2022, a
Yeah,
cruise on
just
Carnival
last year.
Pride left Tampa with an out-of-the-ordinary dress code. What was it?
Wow.
All right. At the end of this podcast, Nancy will give the answer to those 3 trivia questions. So, Nancy, we're on podcast number 13.
Yes,
Hard to
we
believe
are.
we got this far.
I know.
So our first segment for this podcast is an unusual one, but
Yeah.
it is to do with travel because it's traveling around the world to go to nightclubs.
Yes.
This is actually, they did a survey and we got the top 15 weird and wonderful nightclubs and bars around the world.
Oh, that's
So
interesting.
we're going to give you a little hint. If you're in these countries or in these areas, you might want to visit one of these. So
Yeah.
these are not in any order.
Okay.
There's 15 of them. We're just going to read them from 1 to 15. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Nance.
Regression sessions, multiple locations. This is when you want to go back to being a kid, but with alcohol involved. Regression sessions is a soft play night held at clubs around the UK, complete with a ball pit, Play-Doh, and a bouncy castle. How could you not like that?
Have fun with that,
I
right?
hope you can't get hurt, though, when you're in, a little inebriated.
Well, can you
bouncing
imagine being in
around.
that ball pit after people start getting sick or they can't
Oh,
get out of the ball
man.
pit to go to the bathroom?
That's
I mean, it could be a tough
geez.
situation.
Okay, that might not be as pleasurable.
As long as you get there at the beginning of the night, I imagine.
Yeah. Chill Out Dubai. Ice bars are pretty cool in themselves, but this one is extra special thanks to its location. It's the first Sub-Zero club in the Middle East, and the experience of being surrounded entirely by ice feels so much better when you're escaping extreme heat.
They tried doing something like that on, I think it was a breakaway on NCL. Remember they have
Yeah.
a bar that's completely ice
Yeah.
and with Sub-Zero also. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting concept
That is
if you're in an
interesting.
area that's hot. You
Yeah,
know?
right.
We certainly wouldn't get a kick out of that
No,
up here.
I wouldn't like that too much.
So number 3.
Das KLO Germany. Das KLO Germany for Das Klo is Germany for toilet. It's quite possible.
Das Klo is German for toilet. Okay.
Yeah, Das Klo is German for toilet. So Das Klo is quite possibly one of the strangest places to get drunk in the world. It's meant to look like the inside of a toilet and has toilets and coffins for seat. Drinks are served in blood transfusion packs and urine sample bottles. I don't think this is for me. There's also papier-mâché rocks all over the ceiling and walls, which occasionally fall down in a giant avalanche, plus fake lightning. I wonder if Darian has ever visited a place like this.
I'll have to ask
We'll
him.
have to
That would be
ask
interesting.
Darian, because he goes to Germany quite often. That's very unusual.
It is. It is. Definitely its unique theme.
Yes, that's very unique. The Clinic in Singapore. Ever want to get drunk in a hospital? Well, if you ever do, there's a clinic. It's a hospital-themed nightclub where you sit in a wheelchair or lie down in hospital beds and drink cocktails from IV drips. I'm on board. That sounds great. That sounds fun.
What
Alcoholic.
number are you on now?
Number 5, but
Okay.
they're not in any order, but this is the 5th one. Alcoholic Architecture, London. When you can't be bothered with sipping through straws or making the effort to lift a glass, why not try inhaling your alcohol? Alcohol Architecture is a walk in the cloud of cocktail atmosphere where 140% humidity that lets you absorb drinks through your lungs and eyeballs.
Very strange.
That's not for
Yeah,
me.
not sure I really
Yeah,
would
I'm not
get into
on
a
board
club
with
like that.
that.
Yeah.
Evans and Peel Detective Agency, London. To get into this detective theme bar, you've got to make up a fake case and book an appointment with their special agents. Once you get into the office, the detective will open a door hidden in the bookshelves, which lets you into a speakeasy.
I would enjoy
Yeah,
that.
that
I would
sounds
really
great.
enjoy that.
That sounds fun. Minuscule of sound, multiple location. 8 feet wide, 8 feet high, and 4 feet deep. Minuscule of Sound is, as the name would suggest, one of the smallest nightclubs in the world. It was founded in East London back in 1998 and now pops up worldwide for very cramped fun. I'm not on board. No,
That's right.
not
8
if you're
feet-
claustrophobic.
8 feet wide and 8
Yeah.
feet high. This is someone who took a small space and just turned it into a nightclub, really.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that. I don't like. I'm not claustrophobic, but that would be.
I wonder
too
how many
cramped for
people
me.
the maximum number of people
That
they
would be
actually allow in there.
interesting. Yeah. H.R. Giger Switzerland. Sitting inside a museum, the H.R. Giger bar is designed to look like it's made entirely out of skeletons. It's a little bit creepy, but it's designed by the guy behind the alien
Your films.
films.
Yeah,
Okay,
sounds like a
that's-
guy that needs to do that. Yeah, I mean that would be. You know what? That'd be fun for a little
Yeah,
while.
that
but
would.
the
I would.
novelty would wear
I
off
would
pretty
try
quick.
that.
And your last one, number 9.
The Boa tree in South Africa. What's more magical than getting tipsy inside a massive hollowed out tree? The hollow 72-foot-high tree offers a cool interior to step into from the heat outside and now is a bar, dot board, and benches. The trunk has a 155-foot circumference and is wide enough to fit 40 people inside.
Well, that's a good
Yeah,
crowd.
it even has its own cellar with natural ventilation to keep the beer cool. Okay, that's
That's cute.
Yeah,
that
that
almost sounds
is.
like a Winnie the Pooh thing.
Yeah, I
huh?
know.
You could
I was
put
thinking
Winnie
of
the Pooh in
that.
there and you
I
get a
go,
whole different
I know.
thing.
I go, I like that. I like that a lot.
Okay, that sounds good,
Yeah.
Nance. A lot of those are really fun bars.
I know.
Wouldn't mind trying some.
Yeah.
So those were 1 through 9. I'm going to give you 10 through 15.
Okay.
Like I said, these are not in any particular order.
Yeah.
It's just the top 15 that were found and voted on. Number 10, the Eternity Bar in Ukraine. Perfect for when you want to drink alone and ponder the nature of life. Eternity is a club inside a giant coffin.
Oh,
It was
really?
created by the owners of a funeral parlor.
Oh, very, very
That would make
cool.
sense, huh?
Yeah.
Number 11, Maggie's Club, which
Oh.
is located in London, named after Margaret Thatcher and dedicated to the 80s. Should Maggie Thatcher and alcohol mix? Question. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
But they have Rubik Cube tables, fish tank walls, and leopard print sofas.
Ooh, that sounds very colorful.
Number 12, Donnie Dirk's Zombie Den, Minneapolis. So that would be in the U.S. I don't know if many of these have in the U.S. Is a place to act out your zombie apocalypse fantasies without the actual brain eating, with all the zombie themed fun you can think of. I would like that. You probably wouldn't.
I would try that.
Would you?
I would, yeah. I just don't like when people jump out at me and scare me, but as
Okay.
long as the zombies aren't coming out of the dark and
As long as it's not a haunted house.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
don't-
they probably would have a few zombies popping out here and there, though.
well,
Number 13, the Hobbit House in the
Ooh.
Philippines.
ooh,
Now, we've never really been into the Hobbits and that
No.
kind of stuff, but it'd probably be an interest. Hobbit House in the
Yeah.
Philippines is based on the trilogy Lord of the Rings, and all the staff in the bar are friendly and charming dwarfs. The dark, smoke-filled bar offers around 100 different kinds of beer and is a great live music venue. Opened 35 years ago, the Hobbit House has
Wow.
been around in Manila so long, it is a famous institution.
Wow.
The Iowa-born owner, Jim
Oh,
Turner,
yeah.
is an ex-Peace Corps volunteer who has rescued these dwarfs from the slums and streets of Manila and given them an honest place to work. Well, that's
Oh, that's
fascinating.
really nice.
The Hobbit house features possibly the world's smallest Elvis impersonator, Hobbit jugglers, comics, dancers, flame eaters, and singers.
That's wonderful.
That's very unique, and it actually
Very
helps out.
unique.
Number 14, Floyd's Pelican Bar in Jamaica. Perched on the stilts on a sandbar, Floyd's is made completely of driftwood and palm leaves.
Oh,
Sounds
wow.
nice, huh?
Yeah.
Bring a sharp object and you can carve your name on the floor.
Oh, cool.
It looks like it might fall over, but it's surprisingly sturdy. Floyd sits about a mile off the south coast of Jamaica in Paratee Bay, and a local fisherman will take you out there. Oh, so it's actually on an island type of setup.
Yeah.
There's nothing like a cold beer in the middle of the ocean, doing a bit of snorkeling, and enjoying a fresh lobster meal prepared by Floyd himself.
That is on my
Sounds
list
good.
to do. I would like to do that. We've been to Jamaica, but we've never been
No,
that
never
far
heard of
out.
that place.
Yeah, I haven't.
And number 15, like I said, these are not in any order, but number 15 on the list is the Red Sea Star underwater restaurant, bar, and observatory in Israel.
Oh, wow.
The world's first underwater bar. Now, I know there are a few of these now.
Oh, my
but
gosh.
The
underwater
Red Sea
bar.
Star is submerged 6 meters below the Red Sea in Eilat. Each table has plexiglass windows,
Wow.
2 on either side and 1 above, so the diners can admire the fish, coral, and other sea life from the dinner table.
Wow.
The
That's-
decor is even marine inspired with jellyfish stools,
Oh, my
urchin
goodness.
cushions, and anemone lighting fixtures.
Very cool.
Another cool. These
That's
are a lot of
very
these
cool.
are really great bars.
Yeah.
Any there that jump out at you that is a favorite?
Oh, boy. Well, the Jamaica one intrigues me. And also the last one that you read was the Israel
Underwater one?
Yeah, and I would like to have drinks with an IV, through an
Oh,
IV, and the hospital one.
So you like the hospital?
I used to work in a hospital, so I think that would be cool to...
But you
to,
can't. You can't beat the underwater one. I mean, just because it's underwater, right?
Yeah,
but
yeah.
as far as unique, I mean, some of them, like I'm not into the Lord of the Rings, but that
No,
Hobbit house
that
seems
does
very
sound
unique and
interesting, yeah.
different and entertaining,
Yeah.
right? Some of these have great theme, but I think the theme would get boring after a while.
Yeah.
Whereas others, it's continuing entertainment throughout the whole thing. The detective agency one would be fun
That
for
would
me
be
because I love
interesting, yeah.
crime stories and stuff like that.
yeah.
So
there's a lot to choose from
Right.
that we would do, yeah.
so if you ever visit one of these, please
Yeah.
send us an email and let us know. We'd love to know your experiences.
I know. I wonder, the one in Germany, that...
The toilet one?
yeah, that's crazy.
That's funny.
That
Okay.
is funny.
Well, it would be interesting on some
Couple
of them. Yep.
YouTube friends that have been to Germany.
Okay, so thank you very much for joining us, and we hope you visit one of these bars, and we hope you'll share it with us, the experience
Yes.
with us.
If you have visited, send us an email. We'd like to hear your experience.
Right. I find these fun facts very interesting because of my love for Disney World. You were looking over the internet, and you came across 10 fun facts about Disney World's landscaping. Would you like
Yes.
to share those with us, Nance?
Yeah, the Walt Disney World Resort is home to over 7 million trees, shrubs, and flowers. Nearly 17% of the Disney World's 25,000 acres are devoted to maintain landscapes and gardens.
That's incredible,
I know.
17%. Okay.
So here are 10 facts you may not know. About 80% of Walt Disney World is irrigated using reclaimed water.
Yeah.
There are 84 rain sensors located across property that monitors local rainfall. There are 800 hanging baskets on show around the resort at one time. There are 4,000 hanging baskets produced each year. On average, each basket is in production for 3 months and on stage for 3 months.
That's,
About 3.5 million bedding plants and annuals are planted each year around the resort. During the Flower and Garden Festival, 200,000 additional bedding plants are added. That
That's-
would be fun to see.
well, we're dying to do. We're
Yeah.
hoping next year we'll actually could see this fall festival for the first time.
Disney maintains 4 million shrubs across the entire landscape. The Lenotre Garden at the France Pavilion has 985 shrubs. There are 3,500 total plant species represented. There are 11,000 irrigation valves that are controlled by 860 irrigation controllers.
And your last two,
During the winter holidays, there are 90,000 poinsettias used at Walt Disney World. And the last one is Walt Disney World gardeners mow 450,000 miles at Disney World. That's equal to 18 trips around the Earth at the equator.
Those are fascinating. Hopefully we'll get to see them again very soon.
I hope so.
Thank you, Nance.
Follow John and Nancy from J&N Travels as they snowbird in Florida for the winter months.
Snowbird tip. If you're a car enthusiast and enjoy spending an evening looking at a variety of autos, there are 2 weekly car shows in the Kissimmee, Florida area. Both venues have live music during the car shows. The car shows we have attended are located on Old Town on Route 192 and Sunset Walk at Margaritaville on Route 192. Both have free admission. EPCOT.
Yay! That was so much fun.
Now, what we did is we went back and just kind of researched, pulled out some things that we thought were highlights roughly over the last 10 years, just kind of in the last 10 years, because that was the last time we were there before we went recently, right?
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. Oh, yeah.
So
it's 10 years, and then we went 2 years ago. Correct.
Okay. So EPCOT, Nance. 2009, this goes a little out of the decade, was the Kim Possible World Showcase Adventure. Do you remember that? We actually did that back then. It's kind of funny. That was one where you went to different spots and it was
I was going to say,
interactive.
I remember it was raining when we did it.
Yes.
It was pouring, but we did it. And I remember getting clues at the tea shop. One of the...
Yeah, that was one of the clues. You go and she hands you a tea bag, and that's one of the clues.
So I remember that one very well, yeah.
And that was a lot of fun. In 2012, so that lasted for 3 years.
It was fun.
Right. That lasted 3 years. And then they switched it to Phineas and Ferb. Now, that was not around when our kids were kids. Our kids were little, I should say.
No.
Phineas and Ferb Agent P's World Showcase Adventure. That replaced Kim Possible.
Mm-hmm.
And Test Track reopened.
Oh, I loved it.
Now, I don't remember the time, but Test Track must have shut down for a lot of repairs.
I don't remember that. I just remember it always being open.
And that reopened in 2012. In 2016, Soarin' becomes Soarin' Around the World, and Frozen Ever After replaces Maelstrom in Norway Pavilion. Did you like the original Soarin' better with California, or did you like the change to the world?
I like both. I mean, I was excited that they were going to do California because I've been to California and I thought it would be really cool. But I like it around the world. I mean, I thought it was really nice.
Yeah, I liked it because just the landmarks, the beautiful landmarks.
I mean, I've been to Italy, so it was cool seeing pictures of the Colosseum. I don't
even remember flying over there.
I think they did, unless I'm dreaming. But
in Frozen, we didn't want to wait in the line, so we have not seen the new version of Frozen inside the Norway Pavilion. Our kids did see it, liked it a lot. We saw videos of it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a lot of fun, and it can't be worse than the Norway one because do you remember how they used to? You'd get off of the ride and you'd be sitting in the room and have to watch this long, boring movie.
Yes, I remember that, yes.
So
maybe they didn't go over the Colosseum. Somebody could tell me if I'm right or wrong. Maybe I'm dreaming. Anyways, I liked it though.
2018, the EPCOT Festival of the Arts debuts. We still have yet to see that.
No, I haven't seen that.
2019, a huge EPCOT transformation was announced at the D23. I would love to go to D23. Has anyone ever been to that where they announce all these new things that are going to be coming out? They save it for that.
Yeah.
In 2019, an EPCOT Forever replaced Illuminations, Reflections of Earth. We saw the EPCOT Forever. That was a nice show. But a lot of those don't just stand out.
I'm trying to recall that one.
I mean, it's fireworks. Sometimes they add stuff to it. The transformation of EPCOT, and I think that's probably maybe next to the studios, but that's probably one of the bigger transformations in Disney parks because that's if you look at things online, it shows this all different lands are laying out the front part of the park, the Future World part. Putting new fountains in, putting new theming things in, and a lot of that's supposed to open this year.
Nice.
Or early next year. All right, 2020, EPCOT's main entrance update is completed, including a new fountain. In the spring of 2020, the Beauty and the Beast sing-along show was added to France. So that I'm sure is a kids thing where the kids go and do these things to them. The new fountain at the beginning of where the Spaceship Earth is, they have this, it looks like a glass fountain. We've seen some of that stuff because whenever we go, like last year and the year before, we always take the monorail tour.
Yeah.
And it takes you right into EPCOT.
Yeah, that's
so we
cool.
go in, we buzz around, you kind of see behind those walls that they
Yeah.
hide from everyone what they're building. In 2021, we've got Creation Shop opens along with Space 220 restaurant, which takes guests to a dining experience amongst the stars. I've heard mixed reviews on that. The prices are very high.
Mm-hmm.
They bring you in and they give you the impression that you're going up an elevator into space, or you're going into space, and the restaurant is supposed to be in space.
Oh.
They have these, the special effects are great. They have these screens all over the whole thing that show, like, it looks like everything out of space, different things coming by.
That's
so
cool.
the atmosphere is fantastic.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
The meals are high, and you're probably paying for all those special effects and everything.
Yeah, of course.
But it's an experience. It'd be something fun to try. I've heard mixed reviews on if people like the food, they didn't like the food, or if it was worth it or not. So I guess that's something you have to go and try out yourself. I don't know what the Creation Shop is. No idea what that is. That opened up in 2021. Ratatouille's Adventure opened in the France Pavilion. One of our favorites, right?
Yes, we rode it twice, and I would have done it more if we could have, but it was really fun.
And that's a ride that's a mixture of 3D and actually driving around.
Yeah,
right?
it was really fun. I thought it was very well done.
So you get into a cart. Was the cart shaped like
A mouse.
It was a mouse. That's
Yeah.
right, a mouse.
Or a rat, Ratatouille.
You're right. And it brought you from room to room. So the
Yeah.
rooms, it reminds me of the Spider-Man ride. We go in one room, all the walls are 3D. And they do a scene, they go to another room.
It was fun because the rat ran under the table, and you felt like you were going under the table in the kitchen, and you're chasing it. It was really fun. I have to say, that was one of my favorite rides.
And Harmonious ran until April 2nd, 2023. We liked Harmonious a lot. That was one with all the floats.
I do remember that one, yes.
You want to talk a little bit about that, or what do you remember about that?
Well, I don't remember.
We had the floats, and then they would play the music, and I think it was the end of each song or segment of songs, then they would put off a fireworks display, and then they'd move on to the next song, and do the same thing.
Yeah, I don't recall details, so I just remember I really liked it.
In 2022, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind's open. There's a ride we want to go on.
Yeah, I hope I can. They say it's a little jerky, right? Because it's reminded someone of the kind of like the Sizzler ride in the carnivals, because it moves like that a little bit.
I don't know if that's that right or not, but we obviously haven't gone on it.
Right.
People have been raving about it.
Yeah, I hope I can do it.
Yeah, there's a couple of, they're trying to lean towards a little bit to thrill rides right now at Disney. You got that one, you got the one over Toronto over there in Magic Kingdom. Things like that they're trying to build up, which is good. It's good to have a few of those. They'll get a whole different demographics over there,
Yeah.
Connections. Okay, there's also a place called the Connections Cafe and Eatery, which opened up in World Celebration in the spring of 2022.
Yeah.
So that brings us up kind of the current day on the changes in EPCOT. The biggest change in EPCOT, all right, is what we alluded to earlier. So they divided Future World in the World Showcase. Future World's gone in name, okay? It's been rebuilt. It now has 4 neighborhoods, and I think the 4 neighborhoods are situated out by the Spaceship Earth, okay? So if you can picture that, there's a fountain, glass fountain, that stands there now, which looks very pretty.
Yeah, it is very pretty.
Okay, now World Showcase continues to celebrate culture, cuisine, agriculture, and traditions of the countries around the world. World Celebration is the center of the reimagined. Okay, so that's going to be the center land. Then there's World Nature, which is dedicated to the understanding, preserving of the beauty of natural world. And last is World Discovery, focuses on science, technology, and intergalactic adventures. Also, there's a new area called Journey of Water, which is a Moana-themed attraction, and there's a new statue of Walt Disney. So these are
a new
all
statue of Walt Disney.
so
Very nice.
those are all in the new entranceway, and that's supposed to be opening up soon. So I look forward to going back and seeing a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
So this is a part of the podcast, Nancy, I always look forward to find out the answer to these trivia questions of yours. So 3 trivia questions you asked about earlier in the podcast. What are the answers?
So the first one was, which Asian country is made up of more than 17,000 islands?
So which Asian country is made up of more than 17,000 islands? I have no idea.
No,
What
it's
is it?
Indonesia.
Indonesia,
Yeah.
okay.
How many times has Disney World closed to the public? I have no idea.
How many times is Disney World closed to the public? I knew that when we were younger, it had never closed.
Yeah.
They brag about that, but then all of a sudden they started getting hit with some of these hurricanes and
Yeah.
stuff. So, what is the answer? How many
So-
times has Disney World
So
closed to the
Disney
public?
World has only fully closed 9 times in its history. That's not bad. 9 times in its history. Hurricane Floyd, September 1999. 9/11 terrorist attack, September 2001. Hurricane Charlie, August 2004. Hurricane Francis, September 2004. Hurricane Jean, 2004. Hurricane Matthew, October 2016. Hurricane Irma, September 2017. Coronavirus, COVID-19, March 2020. And Hurricane Ian, September 2022. There have also been additional partial day closures, typically due to the hurricanes.
So that's interesting. So that's all within the last 20 years.
Yeah, well,
Nothing
I remember.
before that.
I remember. Hurricane. I was going to guess that they closed at Hurricane Charlie because we were down there for
Right.
that.
Well, we
And
remember that.
Yeah, and we were trying to get to Universal Studios, and they closed.
No, what happened
Universal.
was we went to Universal. We had
Yeah.
a 3-day pass, and they gave us they closed halfway through the day. Universal.
Right,
They gave us
okay.
a half a day pass plus a full extra day to come back.
Oh, okay.
So
that was
we actually
into the-
made out like bandits. We were actually back then you could carry your passes
Yeah.
forward. So we actually came back with our original 3-day pass.
Yeah, I remember being in the hotel and trying to get food that night, and everything was closed. Yeah.
So what's number 3?
In 2022, a cruise on Carnival Pride left Tampa with an out of the ordinary dress code. What was it?
So in 2022, a cruise on the Carnival Pride left Tampa with an out of the ordinary dress code. What was it? And I do remember reading an article on
do?
this very recently. It was a clothing optional cruise, right?
Oh, really? It was called a clothing optional?
Well, I don't know what the title was. What's the
It
answer?
said naked. It was a nude
Yeah,
cruise.
nude cruise.
So nobody
Clothing
had very,
optional.
they probably all had light baggage.
Yeah, I imagine, right? Like you think you still had to get to the
I
ship, so you
know.
couldn't walk
Couldn't
through the
drive nude,
streets
right?
of Tampa that way.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay,
That's
thank you very much.
interesting.
Those are interesting trivia today,
You're
Nance.
welcome.
Nancy is the part of the podcast that we end the podcast on a listener question. Anyone that wants to send us a question, send it to j&ntravels at yahoo.com. Today's question from a listener, Nancy, is you started snowbirding 2 or 3 years ago. What is your favorite memory during that time? So what's your favorite snowbirding memory, Nancy?
Well, the first year that we went down to Florida as a snowbird, we invited our adult children, and all 4 of us went to Disney World. So that was wonderful. That was a good memory.
That's an excellent memory, yeah.
Yeah.
Mine would probably be that one, and also the fact of all the people we met, which I never thought would kind of be us and doing our own thing. But both YouTubers and people that we met just at the condos, and everyone was so friendly.
That was an added plus. Yeah, we met a lot of really good people.
We're actually going back this year with 4 couples that we met from just the hotel swimming pool.
Yeah,
We all decided to go down and overlap a month together. So
yeah, looking forward to that.
thanks for coming to J&N Travels Podcast.